Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful Fibercast. Today's date is September 4th, 2020. My name is Lynn Marquidon, and I'm your host, and welcome to the first of 9 weeks of our mystery quilt, and I'm really excited. It gives me purpose. It gives me something to do, and I hope that you also will join in and let me drive for a while. I'll steer us and I'll show us what we're going to do every week, and it's going to be fun, I promise. So, clue 1, we're going to make 66 of these blocks. These are called block A. They're going to measure 6.5 inches unfinished. And the clue is available on simplycolorful.com or on the Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt-along page. I post them there every Friday morning. Now, you might wonder why it's an envelope quilt. For those of you who are not patrons, you won't get an envelope. Yes, this is shameless, but if you would like an envelope with some more mystery in it, then please become a patron of Simply Colorful for as little as $2 a month. And we'd love to have you. And what that gets you is access to the clues on Thursdays. It gets you the special envelope with special contents that you'll use in this mystery quilt. And almost most importantly, it gets you access into our open sews on Saturdays and Wednesdays. And we're having great fun. It's a whole different level of interaction with we patrons. So welcome. Hi, Leah. Hi. I hope that it's cooling down a little out there in California. So glad to see you out there. So why don't I get right into how to make the clue, and then we'll just start powering through. I have some tips, and it should not be that hard. I know it looks like a lot of pieces. In fact, if we were to count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces in each block. That's not bad. Here's my trick, and it's only the way. So in the instructions, there are a couple of ways you can do this. You can do rotary cutting. Cut the pieces. Hi, Karen. Oh, wonderful. You had the day off in Southern California so you can see us. Nice to see you out there. I'm so glad you can join us. Hi to your puppies. So there are two types of instructions. There is the rotary cutting, and there is the foundation paper piece. I don't know if you can see that. So in the clue, hi, Carol Bell. Hi, Marcella. So that's what I like to do, is paper piecing. I seem to be at that point in my quilting adventure that I'm not up to cutting all the little pieces, but I certainly have been there and would do it again. It's just where I'm at right now. And I have a trick. Well, first off, if you want to remember which colors are which, although I don't think you need to in this, you can do this. The top is going to be always green. The middle is going to be blue. Then you're going to have black, 2 black strips, and in between are alternating black and yellow strips. And they don't have to be pure black or pure yellow. They can be prints. In fact, it's more interesting if they are prints, but whatever's in your scrap pile. Remember, we don't want to buy any fabric. We're just using whatever scraps we have. That's the fun of this. We're locked down in COVID, and we are going to build a story with our quilt, or build a quilt with a story, however you'd like to do that. And Jean, if you're out there, I can't wait to see the story you write. Hi, Sue Whitford. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Deb. Oh, thank you. You like my hair? I dried it, and I still could find my hair dryer. Thanks, buddy. And I'm coming to see you soon, Deb. Aw, hi, Kathy. And hello, Joyce. Oh, thank you. I put on my special top for the occasion. Welcome, Joyce. I'm psyched. I hope to see you tomorrow on Open Sew. Thanks for becoming a patron. Okay. So here's my little cheat sheet, but you really don't need to do that for this. Here's my tip. You want to create these little dashes, this part of the block first. And you do that. I posted online, you cut strips. 1.5 inch wide of the black and the yellow, and you sew them all together. Sew 60 inches worth of 6 strips, because then 66 inches. Remember, we're going to make 66 of these in this clue. Then cut them 1 inch wide, cut 66 of them, and that's what I have here. That's going to save us a tremendous amount of time. Hi, Dawn. Yay. Hi, Angela. Oh, you got your envelope. That's wonderful. Yay. My excitement is contained. Oh, thank you, Jean. I am psyched. Something new to work on, right? We need it. Okay, so you have 66 of these. And then I go to my foundation paper piecing. That's what I am liking right now because, again, I don't have to think about cutting the fabric exactly right. I can just put it on this and sew it. And what I do first is, for example, I will just find my scraps. So I found a black scrap. Here's my, what are we going to call that? My checkerboard. Hi, Lima. Yoo-hoo. Then another black, then the blue. And you'll notice in the clue, that can remind you of sky, any time of day or night. So that's a hint. It's a big hint. And this green is up here, and that can remind you of grass. Okay? It could have snow on it. It could be red soil that's in a drought condition in Virginia or down in New Mexico or Arizona, whatever you want, but that's sort of ground. So I lay those out, right? And now I have an idea of what I want to do. I'm going to take my foundation paper piece and I turn on my handy dandy cutter pillar glow. Thank you, KB. I love this tool. I had to put the stop button over here. I kept hitting it with my arm. Okay. So then, one more tip. I use my glue stick and I turn it over and I just run a little glue where my checkerboard has to go. And for me, all of the checkerboards start with the darker black on the left. See how all of these, the darker checkerboard is on the left. Left, left, left. So that's kind of a, if you find you get halfway through and you realize they're all on the right, that's okay, leave it. It's going to be fine. I would just make all of them on the right, if that makes sense. Just be consistent. Okay, so now that's on my paper. And then I take usually my middle strip here. Yay! Jean, I'm so glad you're out there. I don't know if you caught. We're going to create a story. I have to move this over a little. We're creating a story with our quilt. So the lighting mat is so cool, isn't it? And it's so thin, Leah. Okay. So that's probably the hardest placement of the whole thing. Remember to put your stitch count down. I've got it to 1.7. And the reason you want your stitch count thin is because it's actually acting to perforate your printer paper. I don't even use newsprint anymore. I just use printer paper. Hi, Mom. So you perforate it so it's easy to tear off when you're done. And then you keep, see how I layered that on? Then I'll find another black. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Ooh, that's got some yellow in it. Or some orange, I mean. Okay, so we take this and we go on the bottom. and then we sew it. So now we're getting into, once you have these made, you're just getting into an assembly line. You're having fun with the different fabrics. And I know it's a mystery, so it's hard to start to build the story yet. We just have to build some components right now. So think of it that way. Don't worry too much about your story. But, you know, ooh, that's a very tight seam, but I'm going to leave it. You know, we are living in a very hard time. And it's surreal, right? And I know we've said that in months past, and I think for me, I said that months ago, and I thought, oh, this can't, I'm not sure I really believed it. And so you go through different stages, and now you guys are funny. But it's a very hard time. So use this as whatever salve you can for this hard time. Even if it's for 10 minutes, just something different to do. Because you're kind of coloring with fabric, right? So you keep building. Like maybe I'd use, ooh, this would be kind of bright and cool for my blue, right? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I already laid it out over here, didn't I? Duh. So I'd take my blue and I'd go down. So, and I'll do that in a minute. You keep going until you have your whole thing made like this. And now as I look at it, this light green looks awfully yellow, but that's okay. That's fine. Then I go back, and here's where another tip I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Make sure that it measures 6.5 inches. I don't know what's wrong with my printer other than it's brand new, which could explain it. I'll tell you that in a minute. Who knew it would be so hard to find a printer? All of you who are homeschooling and homeworking did know, didn't you? Okay, that one looks fine. Some of them are not printing out quite at 6.5. Just make sure when you cut your piece, it measures 6.5. 6.5, okay? The only thing with this lighted board is it doesn't pivot. Although I bet I could put it on top of my Martelli mat. We do get spoiled by our toys, don't we? One thing I do have, and I think it came with it, is this cutting mat to be put on top of it. So make sure you get one of those. Okay, and now 6.5, and you can save this up. You know, put several of these blocks together and then do your squaring up. And oh, and that's not right. Hang on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. I think hopefully I cut it too big, not too small. Yep. Having my glasses on might help. All right. And there we go. And you just start plugging them up, putting them up. For those of you who may have asked, this quilt will end up being 84 by 96. But here's the thing. If you don't feel like making a big quilt, which I understand, and it's really not going to be that critical, make a few of every clue. And then at the end, you can decide how big you want to make it. I think that should work pretty much. So this is just all for fun, remember. And if you have, like Leah does, a gazillion babies being born and a queue of baby quilts, do that and just watch us. Oh, and Angela, I'm so glad you got your I think I may have seahorses floating in my sky. Oh, Carol, I love it. Woo! That's the way to do it. I'm going to get a little adventurous myself. That's a good idea. So that's block A. That's what we're making. Well, hello, Amelia from Victoria, Texas. Oh, so here's a tip. The center black line, A7, it says to cut it at 1 1/4 inch. Like that. I am finding that that's a little thin for me, the way I piece, so that my second seam here is only ending up 1/8 of an inch wide. So as I go forward, I'm going to be very cognizant of that and try and skim on the other side. Or if I hadn't cut so many of these black already, I'd cut it at 1.5 inches. So again, A7, just cut it a little bigger if you're doing the foundation paper piecing, so that your seams are big enough. Oh, and then the green. This green I pulled off of another piece. That's the other thing. In your scrap pile, you may have different pieces, leftovers from your other quilts. Use those in this. So here's another tip. We're at this point. Turn your foundation paper piece over and just roughly fold it where the seam is. Doesn't even have to be really straight, but just to give you a guide. And then I go and I cut it to within, I'm pretty sure that's right. So 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch. So I've cut that, and now I open it up. I still use my seam, but that helps me line up my green. And that's that. Boy, it was such a learning curve. I didn't realize it had been so long since I'd been on the website. Sorry about that, everyone. I had to relearn how to load things onto simplycolorful.com. Okay. Oh, I love that chartreuse. Don't you love that? And then I do iron these up before I trim them so that it lies nice and flat. And again, I just put it down and I trim it. I think I'm going to start to amass a pile of these and then trim them all at once. So here's another one. Turn it over. Use my glue stick. Sure that goes down. See this, I'm going to take a scant 1/4 inch. See if that works out better. Oh, Lima. Oh, Leah's sewing the binding on her first baby quilt. Way to go. I love that Celebrate Petite pattern you used. Very good choice. Lima, how is your Taunton Farm hay fundraiser going? I cannot believe a whole year's gone by. But every year, I hope I win a Lima quilt. So for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, which would be understandable, there is a farm, a sanctuary up in northern New Hampshire that rescues animals and takes care of them for the rest of their life. And of course it's cold and they eat a lot and they need medicine, they need all sorts of things and support. And every year Lima Whitty makes a quilt that is amazing, and you can donate to the farm and also get a chance to win the quilt. And I know Lima's going to blush wherever she is, but for those of you who want to get a feel for Lima's work, just put her name into Google, Laima Whitty, Whitty, and you will see at least one of her quilts that was at the International Quilt Festival in the UK a few years ago, and it won a prize. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna go for this one. And to bid on this year's Tompton Farm one, look for the Tompton Farm, Tomton Farm and Sanctuary. Maybe Lima, if you have the link handy and you want to post it, go for it. But you go there and you'll see their animals. It's lovely. Oh, that worked better. Got a good 1/4 inch seam. There aren't seahorses in that, but that sure looks like ocean. Be interesting to see how that works in my sky. Sometimes the sky looks like ocean. Okay. Ooh la la. Look at that green. Is KB out there? I'm curious about your scraps. KB sent me a message not too long ago saying that some of her cotton scraps didn't seem like cotton. Do other people have that issue? Oh, you're here. Oh, yay. I'm curious, do you think that it's like symphony broadcloth that got snuck into our scraps? Or is it upholstery fabric? I'm just curious, being nosy. We should do a scrap swap sometime soon again. Remember we did that years ago? That was really fun. Of course, now we can't get together because of COVID. But I can't think about that or I'll get too depressed. I will never take experiences for granted again. In fact, I have a friend who goes to Burning Man every year out in the desert. I don't even know if it's Utah or California, but it's Burning Man. And it's an amazing experience. And her husband has a location that they set up. And every year, she would always complain about the dust because it is just a dust bowl. You go there for days, maybe a week. And she posts, I saw her post recently on Facebook. She said, never again will she complain about the dustiness of Burning Man. And we have another one. And it's so true. Oh, KB, congratulations to your Flyers. I hope that's right. It's not the Penguins, right? Ha 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 ha. Our Bruins are out of it. It's hockey playoffs here in the National Hockey League. And I think your Flyers were up late last night winning. Okay, so just take another one of these. I really should be getting some variety in here. My next one I will. Oh, home decor and projects for friends where they bought the fabric. Oh, interesting. That makes sense. Yep. I think you can still use those too. I mean, think of the crazy quilts years ago. Not that we were around. I'm just saying. Not that they had polyester, too much polyester, did they? I still will never forget that story about the G's or G's Bend quilters and how they were near a Levi's factory. Or actually, I don't even know if it was Levi's. It was a corduroy pant making factory. You know, back when you used to get the Sears and Roebuck catalog and Sears pants. Anyway, they would have corduroy scraps that they incorporated in some of their quilts. And I'm sure most of you watching know that already. Who's doing other things besides quilting? Anyone? Up with Flyers, down with Bruins. Ah, hey now. That's true. Celtics are still in it, although they lost badly last night, I guess. Speaking of sports, has anyone seen the new, and I don't even know if it's an NFL commercial or a Chips commercial. It must be a Chips commercial. With our own Tom Brady from the Patriots, formerly of the Patriots. It is so darn funny. He's sitting on a bed like a little boy polishing his Tampa Bay helmet. Because he got traded to Tampa Bay. I hope those of you who are homeschooling, I hope things are going okay so far. Teachers are our heroes. Isn't that? I just like that one. Something, we need grass that's sophisticated. Oh, you weren't supposed to know it was grass. Oh, look at this. Deb, more masks for my grandchildren. Making them from cotton poplin. Lighter and not as hot. And adding small vinyl designs to suit each child. Oh, that's wonderful. And they're to size, I bet. I remember seeing those. How about your cork? Deb was showing me. She's sewing with cork, which is I'd only read about. And it felt so soft. I really should have left this sewn and used it somehow, somewhere else already sewn, but okay, there's that. That's great. Joyce, enjoy. It's Friday night. It's almost getting to be fall time and time for that hot tub of yours, I bet. That's awesome. I think we are going to start to feel a little nip in the air. Okay, let's see. I might not do the whole thing. Sorry if you can hear my air conditioner. I guess it's not that cool yet. So this is not fast sewing, what I just did, but here I have green. I'm going to sew the pieces together. Okay, so here's my green piece. And then I'm going to do that same trick. I go over here and just loosely fold about where the green is. And I used to have one of those 1/4-inch rulers for piecing, which is a great thing. Hey, Carol! Well, get caught up, girl. Welcome. So glad to see you. Okay, put that down. And there we go. Now you could choose to do this. Oh, hi, Linda. Oh no, 111 out west. Oh, that is just too hot. In fact, what did I see? The California grid. Hopefully, I'm sure it can handle it. So look at this. We've already made 3. That's pretty cool, huh? How are we doing? Look at that. 34 minutes in, and we made 3 of them. Maybe even 4. Did I put one up there already? 66 is a lot. But we can do it. So again, I turn it over. This took a few hours to do. Oh, Jean, did you get any of the jelly rolls? Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I was knee-deep in, healthcare administration, that thing, and fixing my printer. Basically, my printer for the last year has been limping along. And it was a Brother laser, black and white, bottom of the line. In fact, it was my second Brother bottom of the line, which maybe, but since 2011. So in 9 years, I've gone through 2 of those. Well, do you think anyone has any of those left? Right now, they do not. There are a lot of, now is that, what do you guys think? Is that too, I think it's too late. Too late. In fact, I held it up to the camera and it reads really light. So, oh, I like this one. This has an Aboriginal feel. Ooh. like Sue's quilt. So anyway, I got a brother, but it's fancier than I wanted. It's still a laser printer, but it's color laser, which just means more things to go wrong with it, you know. But then again, I haven't printed in color in years, and I was able to see what the clues looked like in color. Like, look at that! Look at that color. But I can set the settings so that it prints it very light and saves toner. And I'm even thinking most things I'll just set to do black and white, and then I'll just replace the black tone, the black laser cartridge. So that's a long piece. Isn't that fun? I like that. I like how that works. Okay, blue. Good blue. Oh, I know. Scrap saving systems. Oh, Linda, I'm so excited. Thank you. I can't wait to see what you do. But here's the question for Linda and for everyone. Scrap saver systems. Does anyone have any good tips for how you save your scraps or how you sort them, or do you? And one of the reasons I ask is literally, I feel like I'm always sorting. And I was going to sort before we went live tonight, and I thought to myself, they'll just become a mess again. Don't spend my time. But does anyone have any good sorting systems? I have lots of these boxes with lids that I periodically will recolor coordinate, and I'll have pieces in there. More of my bigger pieces. But what do you do with the little pieces, and how little do you go? And this is a borrowed question. Don't save your scrap. Okay, see, no, it's not bad. Life might be too short to save too many scraps. Turning into Eleanor Burns, throwing fabric over your shoulder. Get rid of it. That's wow. I would love if I could be anything like Eleanor Burns. That would be wonderful. I did not remember that she did that. That's funny. I was noticing Rachel Ray always throws salt over her shoulder. Little random tidbit. Anyway, scrap saver systems. I think I'm hearing a theme here. Don't save them too long, huh? So there. Oh, that's a pretty blue. Isn't that pretty? Now, we want a green. Oh, I wonder if that's big enough. It is not. Okay, it's okay. That'll work. I think I should have time to do one more of these, and then we'll cut them up. I think you could make 66 of these in a day. I really do. Maybe 2 days. Make these one day, because that took a few hours. And then the next day, well, tell me if I'm really fibbing. Actually, I'm not sure I could sit and do all 66 of them at one sitting. But once you get the pieces ready, they really do go pretty fast. Let's assemble one more. Turn it over, use this. How's everyone in the tomato department? You about done with your tomatoes? That's not big enough. We have, oh, I like using this. That'll be fun. I had a tomato and cheese sandwich before coming on tonight. It was good. But just curious. I'm just rambling. I'm so glad you guys are out there. We are going to get through this. And all of our experiences are going to be different, and yet there are some common things. Our governor here in the state of Massachusetts held a press conference. He usually does, what, every day, every other day? Anyway, he's good like that. He's visible. And yesterday, he was just in a mood, and he was very open about how he missed his cabinet meetings, he missed his friends, he missed being with people. And he was like he was saying what everyone was feeling is, we're tired. And I have to say to my fellow Amazonians, I feel so bad for the people sorting packages. As we go into the Christmas season, it's going to be so busy. And even if they are able to add new people, which they should be, hopefully, younger people at less risk possibly, there's still a learning curve. And I just feel so bad because they're exhausted and scared, right? And many of them have children at home. How are they? It's just not a good recipe. Oh, and I just goofed that. Did I just goof that up? No, I didn't. Oh, you can have very dark blue if I didn't mention that. So anyway, good on the governor for acknowledging that this really is as bizarre as it seems. We're not making this stuff up. We're not exaggerating the situation, I don't think. Or if we do, we'll catch each other. So I'm doing this a little out of sequence. Let me get another black for down there. Hey, hey, hey. That's a good one. How are we doing? Okay, this is good. And of course, I realized I don't have my phone or my my iPad here, so I'm sorry. Oh, this is so good. You guys are talking about the scrap system. Oh, that's great. I will read it in a minute. I was just saying I don't have my phone or my iPad. So for anyone who has sent pictures to lynn@simplycolorful.com. I'll show them next time. And definitely go, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to YouTube and hit that little button that says get the alarms. Thanks to Jean for teaching me that. She actually was teaching Lima and I was listening in. Ooh, that's cool. That's a different green. I like that a lot. This is going to be a crazy one. Okay, so scrap systems. This is really good. Yes, Jean, my color printer will be good for printing quilt labels. That's a great point. Thank you. I haven't done that in years for that very reason. Yay. Okay, so scrap savers. Linda says, I use the Bonnie Hunter system for small scraps and strips. That's a great one. Larger pieces, I just color separate in large Ziploc bags that I put in a large tub. Oh, that's a good idea too. Deb says, I sort by color. I fold the larger pieces like a fat quarter and keep in a bureau. Oh, that's a great idea. Smaller pieces, I strip to 2.5 and put them in Ziploc bags by color. Then I give them to you. I love that. In fact, I pulled out, I think we used one just now that was yours. I think that one came from you. You are funny. Well, now you have them for your quilt. Aw. What other savers? Oh, the little things that give us joy. I know. Isn't that so true, Leah? My mom always threw salt over her shoulder when she spilled it. She said spilling salt was bad luck and throwing it over your shoulder was to make for good luck. Thank you. We can use that, right? Okay. Oh, Joyce says it's helpful to see the color of the fabrics I'm selecting because she was a little concerned with how much of variety I could use. You're welcome, Joyce. You can. Go for it. I did provide the tip that you could think of the blue as sky during all parts of the day. And you could think of the green as grass or ground. Okay. Whether that helps or not, I'm not quite sure. But let's see. For our last minutes here, why don't we just cut these 5? Yay. So if we did 5 in 60 minutes, how long will it take us to do 66? Uh-oh. 12 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours. Maybe it's a 2-day project. It is a big quilt. Okay. There. There we go. Oh, I love when it gets all cleaned up. Okay. This is so weird. I have to figure this out. Some of these printouts are spot on, and some of them are 6 3/8 instead of 6 1/2. So again, just make sure you cut these 6 1/2. That's a cool one. Let's see. Has anyone been catching the Tuesday Tula videos? I see them on Facebook, but I think she's recording them on YouTube. They're great. This is Tula Pink, and she talks about how she goes about designing her fabric. She shares different things that she's learned over the years. She's quite open about it. It's wonderful. Why do I keep coughing? Yeah. Oh, I like this one too. Okay. Two more. So be thinking about your week, your long weekend. I hope everyone has good plans. Although safe plans, right? It's tempting to have get-togethers. That's a pretty one. One more. I had visions of doing next week's clue on tomorrow's open sew. I don't think so. I think I'll still be doing this clue. And there we go. I like that a lot. So we've got, how many do we have so far? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 51 more to go, right? We can do this. I think that's about it. Again, if anyone is interested in getting their own envelope, become a patron of Simply Colorful. Love to have your support. It pays for the web hosting. So thank you for that. Yeah. So, think of the little things that give us joy. Yeah, Allie might do half the blocks. I think that's a good idea. Good idea. And are you leaving the papers on for the next sewing blocks? You know, I wasn't. No, I'm not on these because, well, first off, because they're not printed quite right on mine. They're printing at 6 3/8 on some of them, but some of them print at 6 1/2. I do believe the clue itself is correct. So that foundation paper should print out at 6 1/2. Anyway, you could leave it on or you could not. I'm not, because it's mainly straight squares, and I think it's going to be okay. Angela, how scrappy does it have to be? Could it be somewhat organized? I don't have scraps. Yes, it absolutely can be. Yep. In fact, you could make it all the same black, yellows, greens, and blues. Or I think I might be tempted to buy a few fat quarters, if you could, and mix it up a little bit, just to give it a little bit more motion in the final quilt. But good question. And my thought is I can send you some scraps. Oh, let's see. Carol. Oh, she hasn't seen the Tula videos, but that lady can draw, can't she? Yes, she can. Look, I'll look for it and I'll post it on our page. They're short. They're under 10 minutes, I think, and they're really quite fun to watch. Oh, and Karen says, why are you putting some on the right and some on the left? Well, so you can see them, of course. I don't want to put them behind my head. That's the only reason. There's no rhyme or reason. I love it. Oh, Karen says they look like film strips. They do, don't they? They do. It reminds me of that Wizard of Oz quilt. Remember we used to do that? I think Jean made that years ago. They had the film strip fabric that went with that line. Allie says Tula's videos are great. I watch them on Instagram. Awesome. Leah, my Fibercast friends are helping me get through. Yes, so true, Leah. We're going to do this. We can do this. My blues I picked are all teal. Is that okay, says Linda? Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And Carol Bell says it's a road with markings in the middle. Interesting. Sometimes, Carol, I think we're sisters from another mother. Allie Hale, that's what I think too, Carol. Allie, maybe we're sisters too. Anyway, it's so good to see you all out there. Thank you for joining me. Have a great weekend, long weekend. Remember, do what you love, do what you're good at. Usually they're one and the same thing, and do something for someone else. It's amazing how good it feels. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow on Open Sew for some of you, and for others, I'll see you next Friday night right here at 8 o'clock for clue number 2.